Harley 883 series. This is a brand new road series. Now here's what happens when you go against some back markers. That's Scott Zampak right there. He tried to get in and out of a couple of lap riders, had to make some adjustments, and ended up clipping a handlebar. Now watch this. 883 is a back marker. Here comes Zampak diving into the corner. Boom. Tragedy strikes. Zampak has nowhere to go, and at 60 miles an hour, finds himself facing a wall of tires. Zampak flips right over the tires into the guardrail and gets up, and he's okay. And here we have a shot of what you normally see on Harley Davidsons. Going around on the short track and the pavement tracks and some dirt tracks. This is what you've come to see on the Camel Pro Series. And even here, things get real wild. Everybody sideways, diving into the corners, and it only takes one guy, and he's down. Now, for those of you who are new to motorcycle racing, the 883 series is really interesting. They're working on it right now for dirt track, and basically what's going to happen is there's going to be some heavy limitations placed on the motorcycles, just like there was here. You can't crank it over too far without keeping it straight. They're going to make these motorcycles competitive so everybody can race it. The idea, a great one by Harley Davidson, is to get the local dealer involved in racing, and that way anybody can go. Now, here's what happens when you come in a little bit too hot and that front wheel says, I ain't turning that hard. You go in for a nice slide. Unfortunately, there's no home plate around here. You don't score any points for this at all. Nothing quite like the sound of V-twins going at it, and these guys are honking. Here they come on the inside of the corner, a very daring outside pass. He gets wobbly. Look at this. Rides the side of the motorcycle. Looks like it ought to belong in a stunt show rather than a road race. Oh, if he gets back on this, he gets the Hero Award. Nope, he's in the grass now. It's going to fall. But I'll tell you what, that's a great way to change the backside color of your leathers. Let's watch this again. Here comes the rider on the outside, a daring place to make a pass. Gets a speed wobble, and boom, he's off the motorcycle. This gives a whole new meaning to the word drag race. Here's where he gets in trouble, though. As soon as he got on the grass, it was all over. Well, it was entertaining to say the least. Now let's take a look at it from a different angle, a head-on view. Now this would be kind of odd if you were sitting in the stands and you see what you're about to see. Wait a minute, Martha. How come he's not on that motorcycle? Here's where he gets in trouble. Goes on the grass and boom. But think of the consequences. You either stay on the grass and don't get hurt, or you slide on the pavement for a while. But he's going to get right back into this thing, get the bike all dialed in, make sure it's in the proper gear. Number plate's a little tweaked, but who cares? We're going racing on the Harleys. Well, gear shift seems to be jammed. That's okay. We'll just do it by hand. Oh, that'd be interesting, watching him go into a corner at 100 miles an hour, shifting with his hands. Here comes some other great road racing shots in the Harley 883 series. Some of these riders have got these bikes dialed in, and they got them dialed in early. They haven't been doing this long. The class has certainly not been this big, and in 1992 and 93, they expect it to be even bigger. There's another great example of what happens when you get a little speed wobble at the end of that straightaway. Front end gets real busy, and all of a sudden, you find yourself picking yourself up off the grass. Watch this. Look to the outside of your screen. You'll see the wobble come, and as soon as you see that, you pretty much know he's gone. Front wheel just washed out, and he's real lucky nobody hit him. As we said earlier, road racing's very, very close-knit. One mistake, and you're lucky that you don't get run over. Boy, when it's done right, it sure is pretty. And when it's done wrong, it sure does hurt. Well, he buried the front wheel there. You saw the front end wash away. No problem at all. Watch this. There's where the problem is right there. You cannot move those handlebars. Once you lean this motorcycle, that's it. You don't need to do nothing else. Throttle, brakes, and gear shifter. That's all you need to do. Once you lean it, you're committed. And one of the things you don't like to see at all is a flipping motorcycle. And there you saw one on the infield. Now here you're going to see some good racing and somebody just about to lose it. Now, You remember old Lucky? Well, this is Lucky number 23 right here on the motorcycle. Not only did he go down and do a great drag for you, but he also showed you how to hit the hay bales and get off the motorcycle as well. Well, and one thing you don't want to do when you crash is get back on the racetrack, especially off the motorcycle. Well, his day's shot. Gloves come off. Little bit of disgust. He had a good lead going. Got into the corner. Little bit too hot, and it cost him. And here it is again. Watch it in slow motion as number 7 gets a little sideways, loses the rear wheel. Now the saving grace here was bike number 23 didn't run him over, but it was close. And that attests to the skill of this rider riding this motorcycle. Unfortunately for him, he slides into the hay bales and he ends up off the bike as well. Worst part of it was he ended up on the racetrack. Good job by the corner worker there, getting the yellow flag out and letting everybody know there is a potential problem, and they'll keep waving that thing until the problem is clear. Here's another look at it again. You can see the rear wheel start to smoke, and there it is. And for that little second that you know you're going, it's the worst feeling in the world. That's a pretty good piece of riding right here. And even though he ends up going down, he avoids the flipping motorcycle. He avoided the rider. Well, I tell you, there's 2 lucky gentlemen right there to get up and walk away from this one. It's good to see he's got a spring in his step.